I never thought the sound of my own sister's voice could feel like a knife twisting in a wound that was still bleeding. My name is Claire Bennett. I'm 49 years old, a widow and a mother who had just laid her only child to rest. The rain that day at the cemetery smelled of wet earth and fresh-cut lilies. The same lilies Lily used to tuck behind her ear when she was little. I stood there in my black coat, trembling, scanning every face under the umbrellas. But the one person who should have been holding me up was missing. Denise, my older sister. Not a single text, not a call, not even a flower scent in her name. Let me take you back so you understand how deep the roots of this story go. Before the accident, our life felt stitched together with ordinary, beautiful threads. I lived in the same pale yellow house on Maple Lane that Tom and I bought when we were newlyweds. Mornings smelled of fresh coffee and toast. Evenings carried the soft clatter of dishes while Lily, my 21-year-old daughter, told me about her nursing classes. She'd lean against the counter, ponytail swinging, and say, "Mom, you should have seen this patient today." Tiny hands, big smile. Her laughter would fill the kitchen like sunlight. Tom had been gone 3 years, heart failure that came too fast. But Lily and I had learned to hold each other steady. Sunday dinners were sacred. Her famous spaghetti sauce bubbling on the stove, the scent of basil and garlic wrapping around us like a hug. We talked about everything. Her dreams of becoming a pediatric nurse, my quiet days teaching third graders, the way the old oak tree in the backyard still dropped acorns every fall just like when she was small. Denise was part of that circle, or so I believed. She's 53, lives 40 minutes away in the city, always dressed sharp, always moving fast. After our mother passed 10 years ago, Mom's will had left a $580,000 trust fund specifically for Denise. But Mom knew her daughter too well. The impulsive loans, the failed businesses, the way money slipped through Denise's fingers like water. So she named me trustee. The money was locked until Denise turned 55 or proved she could handle it responsibly. Denise never fought me on it. Over coffee at the diner, she'd pat my hand and laugh. "You're the rock, Claire. Keep it safe for me. I trust you." We'd clink our mugs, and for a moment everything felt solid. Then Lily's car was hit by a drunk driver on a rainy Tuesday night. The hospital smell, antiseptic and fear, still clings to my memory. I called Denise first, voice cracking. "Lily's gone. The funeral is Friday at 10. Her reply was quiet, almost clipped. "That's awful, Claire. I'll try to clear my schedule." No tears. "No, I'm on my way." Just the faint tap of her keyboard in the background and a quick, "Talk soon." I told myself she was in shock. People grieve differently. I pushed the tiny flicker of unease down and spent the next 3 days choosing the white dress Lily loved, writing the obituary, answering neighbors who brought casseroles that smelled of comfort I couldn't taste. The funeral morning arrived gray and heavy. The church pews filled with teachers, Lily's classmates, old friends. The casket gleamed under soft light, and the organ played the hymn she used to hum in the shower. I kept glancing at the door, waiting for Denise's familiar stride. She never came. Not one empty seat was filled by her. My chest tightened, but I stood tall for Lily, whispering goodbye into the silence. The next morning, before the coffee even finished brewing, the doorbell rang, sharp, impatient. I opened it still in my robe, eyes swollen. There stood Denise in a crisp navy coat, hair perfect, lipstick fresh. No hug, no tears, just a quick glance past me into the house and the words that landed like ice. "Claire, I need my $580,000 trust fund. Today. The paperwork is ready. Sign it over." I stood frozen in the doorway, the morning chill slipping past her shoulders into the house. The coffee maker hissed and gurgled behind me, filling the air with a smell that suddenly felt wrong. Too normal for what was happening. Denise didn't wait for an invitation. She stepped inside, heels clicking on the hardwood the way they always did, purposeful, like she was late for something more important than her sister's grief. "Denise," my voice came out thinner than I meant it to. "Lily's funeral was yesterday. You weren't there." She set her leather folder on the kitchen table, the same table where Lily and I used to play cards on rainy afternoons, and opened it without looking at me. "I know. I had a meeting I couldn't move. I'm sorry, Claire, truly. But life doesn't stop. Does it? Bills don't wait for funerals." I felt the words hit like cold water. "A meeting," I repeated slowly. "You missed burying my daughter, your niece, for a meeting?" She finally met my eyes, and there was something there I hadn't seen before. Calculation, not sorrow. "Look, I'm grieving too, in my own way, but we both know Mom left that money for me. I'm turning 55 in 3 months. The clause says I can access it early if I demonstrate responsibility. I've got a solid business plan now, real estate flips in the Uptown district. I've got investors lined up. I just need the capital to move fast. You've held it long enough." I walked to the counter, poured coffee I didn't want, just to have something to do with my hands. The mug trembled. "You didn't even send flowers. Not one card. Not a single message yesterday saying you were thinking of us. Denise sighed, the sound impatient. I sent a text. You probably didn't see it in all the chaos. And flowers? Claire, come on. You know I'm not good at that sentimental stuff. That was always you and Mom. I turned to face her fully. The text said, and I quote, thinking of you. Let me know if you need anything. That was it. No call. No visit. Nothing. She closed the folder with a soft snap. I'm here now. Isn't that what matters? I'm trying to move forward. You should too. Holding on to anger won't bring Lily back. The mention of my daughter's name in her mouth felt like theft. I set the mug down too hard. Coffee sloshed over the rim. This isn't about anger. This is about you showing up for 5 minutes yesterday. 5 minutes. Denise. That's all I needed from my sister. Her jaw tightened. I'm not the villain here. I've been struggling too. You sit in this house with your teacher's pension and your memories. I've been fighting to build something. That trust fund is my chance. Mom trusted you to do the right thing when the time came. I stared at her, searching for the woman who used to braid my hair when I was 6, who cried with me the night Tom died. She was gone, or maybe she had never been as close as I told myself. I'm not signing anything today, I said quietly. Not until we talk about yesterday. Really talk. She laughed once, short and sharp. You're unbelievable. Your daughter's gone, and you're still playing gatekeeper with my money? Fine. I'll have my lawyer call yours. This doesn't have to be ugly, Claire. But I will get what's mine. She picked up the folder and walked out. The door closed with a click that echoed through the empty house. I sank into the chair where Lily used to sit, staring at the coffee stain spreading across the table like a bruise. That afternoon I did something I hadn't done in years. I opened the old cedar box Mom kept under her bed. Inside were letters, photos, and the original trust documents. Tucked beneath the legal pages was a small envelope addressed to me in Mom's careful handwriting. I hadn't looked at it since the reading of the will. Grief had made me afraid of what it might say. I opened it now. Claire, my steady girl. It began. If you're reading this, something has gone wrong between you and Denise. I know my daughters. I know Denise will push and you will bend until you can't anymore. The money was never just for her. It was for both of you in different ways. You hold it because you hold things together. If she comes for it too soon, too hard, look at the clause on page 7. There's a provision I added quietly. Use it only if your heart tells you she hasn't changed. I trust your heart more than I trust her promises. My fingers shook as I flipped to page 7. There it was, a small, overlooked paragraph. If the trustee believed the beneficiary was acting in a manner that showed disregard for family duty or moral responsibility, the trustee could delay disbursement indefinitely, pending mediation or court review. I closed the box and sat in silence while the afternoon light moved across the floor. For the first time since Lily died, something inside me shifted. Not anger exactly, but clarity. Denise wasn't asking for help. She was demanding tribute, and she had chosen the exact moment when I was at my lowest to do it. I picked up my phone and dialed my cousin Michael, the family lawyer who had handled Mom's estate. When he answered, my voice was calm. Michael, I said, I need to invoke the family duty clause, and I need you to help me make sure everyone understands why. The next few weeks unfolded like pages turning in a book I never wanted to read. Michael filed the notice invoking the family duty clause the very next day. It wasn't dramatic. No courtroom showdown. No raised voices in front of a judge. It was quiet paperwork. A formal letter sent to Denise explaining that disbursement was being withheld pending independent mediation. The mediator would review evidence of her conduct toward family. Specifically, her absence at Lily's funeral and the timing of her demand the morning after. Denise's first response was fury. She called me at midnight, voice shaking with something between rage and tears. You're punishing me, Claire. For what? For not being perfect like you? For not crying on cue? I listened without interrupting. When she finished, I said only, this isn't punishment. This is protection. Mom's protection. Come to mediation. Tell your side. If the mediator sees real change, real remorse, the money releases early. That's the rule you agreed to when you accepted the trust. She hung up. For 2 weeks, silence. Then the call started again, shorter, colder. You're ruining my life. Investors are pulling out. I'll sue you for breach of fiduciary duty. I let them go to voicemail. Each one hurt, but the hurt was different now. Less like betrayal, more like mourning someone still living. The mediation happened on a Tuesday in early December, in a plain conference room that smelled faintly of lemon cleaner and old carpet. Denise arrived in the same navy coat, but her lipstick was gone, and her eyes looked tired. Michael sat beside me, a neutral mediator, an older woman named Ellen, sat at the head of the table with a notepad and a calm face. Ellen asked Denise to speak first. She straightened, cleared her throat. I missed the funeral because I couldn't face it. I loved Lily. She was bright, kind. But seeing Claire like that, broken, it reminded me of every time I failed people. Mom, you, myself. I thought if I stayed away, I wouldn't make it worse. Then the next morning I panicked. The business deal was collapsing. I needed the money to save it. I convinced myself that if I moved fast, got the cash, I could prove I was responsible. I was wrong. I was selfish. I should have been there holding my sister's hand instead of holding a folder. The room stayed quiet. I watched her hands twist in her lap, the same nervous gesture she'd had since we were children. For the first time in years, I saw the scared girl behind the sharp edges. Ellen turned to me. Claire. I took a slow breath. The words came steady, even though my chest ached. I don't hate you, Denise. I loved the sister who used to sneak me extra cookies when Mom wasn't looking. I loved the aunt who taught Lily how to whistle. But that morning on my doorstep, you didn't see me. You saw an obstacle. Lily had been gone less than 24 hours, and your first thought was the trust fund. That broke something between us that I don't know how to fix yet. But I'm not here to keep the money forever. I'm here to make sure it doesn't destroy what's left of our family. Ellen asked questions for another hour. Denise answered honestly, sometimes haltingly, about the failed ventures, the loans she hadn't repaid, the way she'd always run from hard feelings instead of facing them. When it ended, Ellen gave us both a gentle smile. I'll issue my recommendation in 10 days. In the meantime, I suggest you both consider what family means when the easy parts are gone. 10 days later, the letter arrived. Ellen recommended a 2-year delay on full disbursement. During that time, Denise would need to complete financial counseling, make partial restitution to past creditors she'd defaulted on, and attend at least 6 family therapy sessions with me, if I was willing. If she met the conditions, the trust would release at 57 instead of 55. If not, it stayed locked until I deemed it appropriate or a court overruled. Denise didn't fight it. She signed the agreement without a word. The first therapy session was awkward. 2 sisters sitting across from a counselor, the silence thick with years of unsaid things. We didn't hug when it ended, but she looked at me before she left and said, quietly, I'm sorry I wasn't there, Claire. I wish I could take that day back. I nodded. I wish you could too. Months have passed now. The house still feels too quiet without Lily's laughter, but I've started planting tulip bulbs in the backyard, her favorite. Denise calls once a week. Sometimes we talk about nothing important. Sometimes we talk about the hard things. The money sits untouched. It's no longer the center of anything. I still miss my daughter every single day. The grief is a quiet companion now, not an enemy. And my sister? She's not the villain I feared she'd become, nor the hero I once hoped she was. She's just human, flawed, frightened, trying. Like me. If there's a lesson here, it's this. Family isn't measured by grand gestures or perfect attendance. It's measured in the small, painful moments when someone chooses to show up. Even when it's late, even when it costs something. I chose to protect what Mom left us, not out of spite, but out of love, for the family we still could be. What would you have done if the person who should have held you up instead asked for everything you had left? Would you have opened the door wider or closed it for good? Tell me in the comments below. And if stories like this of broken trust, quiet justice, and the long road back to each other means something to you, consider subscribing to Broken Trust Stories. There are more voices waiting to be heard. Thank you for listening to mine.